Beautiful morning, collective. I am documenting, expressing all of the things that I do for no reason other than to do them because they feel good. That's purely it. There's no agenda otherwise. I am in a precarious place of peace. The precipice of peace, if you will. The very tip. It is a bit like being balanced upon, not balancing. It's not an active thing, it's an allowing thing. It's being balanced upon the tip of a pen or some such thing, or a very fine wire, something that is very high up, and there's a kind of exhilaration in it, actually. Curiously, there is an exhilaration and excitement in the absolute surrender to this of anything could happen. I could lose this balance at any moment, and that would be okay. Actually, it's all okay. I'm here. This is where I am, and it is perfectly okay. Awoke this morning with feelings of heaviness, sadness, certainly some anxiety, and specifically guilt. Guilt is in there. And I will express how this pertains to me, but I do feel strongly that it is also connected to the broader divine masculine energy and what it is experiencing at this time, which is a multitude of things and impossible to pinpoint. But there is guilt there. And so rather than judging this emotion in myself or judging myself for feeling it, I made a conscious decision to simply allow it to exist, to look at it, to let it express itself and see what it was related to. It wasn't immediately obvious to me, and it didn't need a reason, but it presented itself as guilt over perhaps misunderstanding another person, misunderstanding my ex, some guilt over not experiencing the situation the same way. There was guilt over the feeling of not trying, or not trying hard enough, or should I be trying? Guilt over the sense of giving up, and that maybe I should be trying to make it work. And then the realization immediately, first of all, that is not how love works. That is not how love works. And furthermore, it's not how energy works. It's, if a thing doesn't feel good, if guilt is your motivation for it, that's fear. That's a fear of judgment, of what am I going to be judged as or for not doing this thing. That's what guilt is. It was a fear of how I might be perceived, how I might be judged, potentially by other people, potentially by source, which never judges anyone or anything. And so it's fear. It's a fear-based motivation. It's ego-based. And that is not a reason to do anything in the first place. Fear should not be the motivation for any action or lack thereof. And it is certainly not a reason to get into a relationship with someone. That is not a stable foundation. It's not a healthy foundation. It's not a foundation that serves either party. Both individuals are deserving of more than that, than to enter into a partnership, a relationship on the grounds of fear, of not, of guilt over not, of a fear of judgment, or no, that's again not a reason to do anything, certainly especially not a reason to be in a relationship. And I do feel that this is something the broader masculine is realizing, and it's entering my awareness that a big part of the timing of all of these events in my life, coinciding with my own whatever Kundalini awakening and feeling compelled to express this information, that it's all aligned, that my personal experiences here provide me a unique perspective on the rest of the Divine Masculine, because that is the energy that's predominantly experiencing these lessons of how to release a security blanket, how to identify it in the first place, identify that this is a thing we've been engaging with and clinging to, not out of joy, not out of desire, not because it feels good and because we want to, but because of a fear of what happens if we don't. We don't have that data, and so it becomes scary. And there is definitely a fear of judgment as well. That is a big part of it. And so I am appreciative of my being uniquely positioned in this way to understand what the masculine energy is going through and have a deep sense of compassion and understanding for it. And then just the emotional clarity of nobody deserves to be in a relationship with someone who's only with them because they're afraid of what would happen if they weren't. My ex deserves to be in a relationship with a person who wants to be with her, and she's a wonderful person. She is. She's as divine and spiritual a soul as any one of us. She has grown tremendously. She's a beautiful person and deserves to be chosen fully, and not out of guilt or fear, even guilt or fear over what her reaction might be, especially that. That's so diminishing. That is not honoring of her power and her status as a divine deliverer creator. No, I will hold myself to a higher standard and insist on honoring myself and her and all divinity in this way of, she deserves a hell yes. She deserves someone following a good feeling impulse, not someone trying to subvert a bad feeling. That's not how love works. It's not how it works for any of us. And this is a big part of, this is my lesson, to understand this too. How to practice unconditional love more powerfully and truly, and hold myself accountable for my role in that. So, clarity this morning that I'm sure will falter as it always does, but I'm grateful for it. There is a profound peace in it, a feeling of realignment with myself and my energy, of trusting, of believing that I'm following, this feels good. It feels good to at least release, to honor her in that way. I don't know what the future holds. Perhaps my energy will realign in a different form. I don't know. I cannot predict that, and I will not try. I have no desire to try. But I am surrendered to this. I am surrendered to the natural order, to divine justice. I pledge myself once more, reiterate this intention, to follow the soul path of myself, whatever that means, and that I don't know what that means. I don't have to know. I don't want to know. I trust that as it unfolds before me, it will be made clear. And that's enough. That's more than enough. That's all I need. And so here I am, balanced in this place, just allowing it to be, and a further realization and appreciation for the loss of balance, and understanding that the more that I slip and fall, the more I lose my balance, the more chance I have to practice finding balance again. And the more that I practice that, the more times that I regain balance, the more confidence I gain in my own ability to do that. And that is the true stability. That's the greater stability, the understanding, the confidence in my own ability to regain balance. It's not about maintaining it. It's not about keeping. It's not about holding, gripping, controlling. It's about allowing. And the more times again, that I regain that balance, the less frightening the experience of losing it becomes. I have less resistance to it because of my increased confidence in my ability to find it again. And the understanding that that is actually the satisfying thing. Holding balance is not satisfying, it's boring. What feels good is finding it, is flowing into it, is feeling your energy flow and then following it. That's the satisfaction. That's the slight tipping and the following and returning to balance. It's this dance. It's this constant game, this motion. And so it becomes clearer that the very experience of losing balance is not a detriment. It's not a threat. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's actually the opportunity afforded to me to regain that balance again. And that is wholly satisfying and sustaining. And the more it happens, the more confidence I have in that ability, which feels really good. So that's it. I'm going to treat myself, which the sign here says, to some frosty drink. I encourage you to treat yourself today. Beautiful souls, thank you for your witness. I love you. Stay blessed.